this sort of thing. But it's hard not to. Or another example. To destroy a human being, it takes a second. Whereas to create one, it takes 9 months. This is a universal law. Everything good requires effort, whereas to be evil is easy. The source of all evil is Satan, who was originally created as an angel called Lucifer. Being the greatest among angels, his purpose was to praise and glorify God with music, which was his specialty. But because Lucifer was so beautiful and perfect, his heart got lifted up and he became proud. He began to desire the worship that rightfully belonged to God for himself. How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning! How you are cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations! For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Now you might ask, how can anyone in heaven rebel or have evil thoughts? I'll tell you why. Because when God created the angels, he made them perfect, but with a free will. Same as he created the first man, perfect, but with a free will. The reason for this is because God is love, and love is freedom. You may have heard the saying, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. You can't force someone to love you, because then it's not love. That's why God didn't create robots, but beings with free will, beings capable of obeying or disobeying him. Lucifer chose to rebel, and he caused a third of the angels to follow him through their own free will. He became the first ever rebel in history. The result of this was that they were cast out of heaven. The fallen angels became demons, and Lucifer became the devil or Satan, which means the deceiver. His desire was and still is to receive worship for himself. Satan's greatest strength today is the fact that no one believes he really exists. This allows him to get away with anything he likes. Since his fall, however, his time is drawing nearer and nearer to an end, and he's beginning to get nervous. But Satan is wise, and he has saved the best weapon until last. And that weapon is the thing he can do the best. Music. Now, keeping all this in mind, let's take a look at the origin of rock. Did you know that right from the very start, the foundation on which rock music was built upon was rebellion? You know, you love it because your parents hate it. It's at the very core of rock and roll, and through the years, it's been taken to new extremes. When Elvis first appeared on the scene, his hit movements caused an uproar. He was only allowed to be shown from the waist up on TV. This sounds ridiculous by today's standards. Imagine your parents finding Elvis shocking. It's laughable, yet that's exactly what happened back then. Same thing with the Beatles. When they first appeared, the length of their hair was seen as an outrage. Yet today, they seem like little angels. Now, when something stops being controversial and shocking and becomes accepted in society, like the hip shaking of Elvis and the hairdos of the Beatles, then in order to shock and get a reaction once again, something new needs to be done. Eventually, people become conditioned to things which in the past would have been looked upon in horror. Today we've reached a stage where we even have bands openly glorifying the devil himself. That was a band called Venom, who are relatively unknown. If you're thinking, so what, that's just underground stuff, then let's have a look at some bands that are well known.
Devil inside, every single one of us, the devil inside, the devil inside, the devil inside, every single one of us, the devil inside, the devil inside, the devil inside, yeah, yeah.
This is a band called Motley Crue, Their 1987 album Girls, Girls, Girls shot to the top of the American charts the week it was released and was a worldwide hit album. Have a listen to a part of the first track. Now compare the lyrics we just heard with this Bible quote. You are of your father the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. The pentagram has long been a symbol associated with witchcraft and devil worship. It's a symbol Motley Crue also uses on their albums and videos. In fact, rock music today is full of satanic symbols and images. To the kids, it comes across as being cool. I used to absolutely love all this over-the-top blood and guts stuff. In fact, the sicker it got, the better. Only now can I see how outright satanic it all really is. Another band who has achieved huge success recently is Guns N' Roses. The album that did it for them is called Appetite for Destruction. One of the devil's titles in the Bible is the Destroyer. The cover shows the band members' heads drawn as skulls over a cross. Although the album contains four-letter words right throughout, it was still a worldwide smash hit. Let's listen to some lyrics.
If that's what you do, turn around, bitch, I got a use for you. Besides, you ain't got nothing better to do, and I'm bored.
I used to listen to this stuff almost religiously, but strangely enough, I never took any real notice of the lyrics. They didn't mean as much to me as the powerful sound of the guitars and the drums did. And there's something very spiritual about this, something I'll come back to soon. The Inner Sleeve features a rape scene where a girl has just been molested by a robot. The degradation of women is a favourite subject among rock bands. All these female fans dolling themselves up, trying to look good for their favourites, are just pieces of meat to a touring band. Yet all these girls would practically die for their rock idols out of devotion to them. If, however, they saw these same stars in the street before they became famous, saying the things that they sing about, they'd think, what a bunch of creeps. But put a guitar around them, put them up on stage, get them to make a record and a video, and the girls go crazy. The American band Poison keeps a computer list of groupies when they go out on tour, and there are tens of thousands of women on the Poison groupie file. The members of the band have even installed a condom machine on their tour bus. So far I've only talked about heavy metal music basically, and people seem to think that if they don't listen to this type of music, then they're okay, that what they listen to is safe. But let me tell you something, the safe stuff is actually a lot more dangerous than what we've already seen, and the reason for this is because it's subtle. It doesn't come right out and say things about the devil like we saw before, but hides behind a mask. And Satan has many beautiful and clever disguises to mask his activities. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. Today's dance music and top 40 is full of songs about sex and lust. Usually it hides behind a mask of love, a mask Satan uses to really project sex. Kids reaching an age of sexual awakening are under heavy attack by all this lusty music, which pollutes their minds and gives them a false understanding of what real love is. The idea of sex only within marriage is something that's laughed at in today's society. But the reason God has put up a fence around sex in the Bible and surrounded it with commandments is because it's something special.